Welcome back to Personal Best Radio. I'm in the studio today with Lance Lorfelt, owner of Lakewood Chiropractic.
How has the profession changed over the years?
Well, chiropractic has expanded into many market areas. We have special training occurring at the chiropractic schools for extremities or sports injuries. We have special training for pediatric care as well as geriatric care. It goes on and on onto the different avenues that you can go on. There's many opportunities, not just
What people would traditionally consider chiropractics.
That's true. Although that is the most important and the crux of the whole system is keeping the interference clear from the spine.
So there are specializations, and it sounds like there's lots of them.
Yes, there are.
Those who would want to get into the field, what thoughts do you have? What recommendations? Where might they look to go? Would you consider your alma mater as the place to be, or
Well,
are there good schools all over the place?
Palmer, where I went to school, is in Davenport, Iowa, and it's the oldest chiropractic school in the country. It also is probably the you get the best education there, but education comes from within too. It depends on what you want to do for yourself. So you can go to other schools and come out as a great chiropractor.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't have to be from one school or another.
Okay.
The nice thing about Palmer and Davenport is cost of living is cheap. The winters are a little cold.
A little bit.
But that's where it all began, and there's a big history there. It has several unique things on the campus. One of them that's kind of strange, but it has the largest spine collection in the world of over 25,000 spines.
Yeah, that would be unique. Not too many places can claim to have a spine collection.
No, they don't. The son of the original chiropractor was quite an inventor and adventurous. He developed many things that are carried on today. He developed a machine called a neuroelectroencephalograph.
Okay. And that's still used in the profession, is it?
There were two of those machines made, and neither one of them are being used, but there are machines that were made after that are used in medicine. The EKG and the EEG are both a result of the tempograph, as we refer to it.
So aside from the specialization, it sounds like the practice itself is still fairly in line with the original.
Yes, you'll see factions of chiropractors today. The big thing is to do rehab. I personally believe that physical therapists are perfect in that setting, and there's no need. There's enough just taking care of spines to go into that endeavor. But also nutrition, as I discussed before, is important for overall health, and many chiropractors have a lot of postgraduate and training in nutrition, which can be a benefit to one's health.
Again, we're looking for healing the whole body, as you discussed in those 5 areas earlier. Now, do you see any trends in who comes in to see you, and who should be coming in to see you?
Well, my practice has evolved. I picked up the practice from a gentleman that started in '61, and he passed on in '94. So I think at first you do see a lot of pain, and you go after that because that's what drives people into a healthcare provider. But at this point, people tend to come in to stay more healthy, and they just get checked once a month or a couple times a month, or some will go every other month, and some tell me they're getting checked once a year, and that's fine.
So it's really up to the individual and their needs?
Yeah, that's totally right. It would benefit people to check on those things, because once you get a subluxation, it can deteriorate fast, and once it sets in, it's like insulin for a diabetic patient. The care you get from a chiropractor will keep you from deteriorating, but it will not cure the problem. And in the pure sense, chiropractors don't cure anything. It's the person themselves are the best doctors.
And the body.
And the body.
You're there to assist the body to do what it's...
To remove the interference.
And what it's designed to do. Now, internal injuries, is this something that... now we're talking about organs and other things as well. I think a lot of people think just bones and bone structure.
Sure.
But again...
Well, the idea is the brain is controlled. It controls the body, and it communicates to the body through the spinal column or cord, to be precise. If there's any interference in those areas, depending where that nerve goes, you will have dysfunction. And until you remove that interference, you may have a hyper or a hypo condition. Medically, we would treat that with pharmaceuticals. Chiropractically, we really don't treat anything. That's where the two philosophies kind of mix. Chiropractic is not an alternative. It's not even complementary to medicine. It's a separate and distinct philosophy. Chiropractic is vitalistic. Medicine is mechanistic.
And what do we mean by those two phrases?
Mechanism is described as, especially within scientific method research, and it's where you can do double-blind studies and prove whether something works or does not work. Vitalism is involved in energy or holistic, and you can't measure that. So in the scientific community, you always hear that you can't prove chiropractic tenets, and they're right, because it involves a bigger process than the material world. It involves an abstract part, which is where part of the crux comes in between medicine and chiropractic, or some of medicine.
Okay. So the idea that we can't test the same person for two different procedures. That's, scientific procedure requires kind of looking at the same procedure done on two different bodies, but by definition, we need to be working on the same body.
Right.
And therefore, we're not being able to prove it through traditional scientific method. Now, vitalistic, on the other hand, is you tell me. I want to make sure you get it right. Let's get it right for the audience. I wouldn't presume.
Vitalism means there's more to the body than just a machine. There's something else that's controlling it and guiding it through the day, through the adaptation process. It's a bigger process than just saying that the blood flows from the heart to the leg, at this pressure. It's what controls the pressure. It's not the salt in the diet necessarily, or the lack of water in the diet, although those can affect it. But there's something more to health than just merely the absence of disease. It's optimum physical, social, and mental well-being. And I think chiropractic fits perfectly in that setting. Many professional athletes have chiropractors that travel with them. Tiger Woods is one. Football players have been using it throughout decades. And the people that seem to use it do seem to have a little edge over the others.
Seems to. So what is it you enjoy most about the profession?
Thank you. I've been waiting for that question. I like helping people, and I think that's my big niche in this. Is for some reason I like to help people, and that's where I seem to come into this whole thing. I'm heavily involved in the philosophy of chiropractic, and I'm one of 38 in the world that has a postgraduate degree in the philosophy. But that's another avenue, We'd have to talk about, is it Ayn Rand for a while to get into that, but I don't think we need to go down that path right now.
Well, you're not going to toot your own horn too much, and I understand you want to be humble about it, but I know you do provide service in a few ways to the community that most people wouldn't have even realized. Go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
Well, everyone remembers Vietnam, and I grew up just short of having to sign up for the draft a couple years, but I do remember how we treated our military when they came back, and I don't think it was probably the best thing to do for them. Now what I've decided to do during the Iraq War, we all were urged to help people in this war on terror, so I've been giving free care to the people that are going over to Iraq or their families when they're over there. Didn't know it would go on this long, but that's
right.
What we're doing, and I'm having a good time doing it. I've met very good people, and it's a very difficult time for them too. So that's one of the things we try to do in Lakewood. I've hosted kids' days where we would fingerprint them. We'll take photo IDs. We do safeties with the fire department, the police department, and those types of events.
I really appreciate that in the community. I know it's appreciated by those who are receiving that service. Is there anything else, any other advice you'd like to provide? Just people going through their day, what they should be maybe considering for their own personal well-being and health?
Well, I think if you just follow your advice of your grandparents and eat good food, and work hard, and do good things to other people, you're going to be way down the road as compared to most people. We tend to get into a greed mode, and especially in big population density areas like out here, we're trying to get ahead, or we're trying to maintain, and that seems to be a terrible wear on society and people individually. So I would just suggest to slow down and smell the roses a little bit, and not worry about who's got what next door, or that you need this or you need that, and try to take time for yourself. Most people, the excuse for not exercising or even coming in to see me is they don't have time.
And you're thinking, well, and I teach as well, we make time,
Yeah.
and we for what is important.
For what we see value.
Yes.
And that's the whole thing. If you don't see value, you won't pursue it.
We want people to realize that taking care of themselves is highly important and really should be high up there on the list.
If you aren't right, you can't help others as well as you could if you are.
My experience at Lakewood Chiropractic has just been phenomenal, and that's why I'm just excited to have you on the show and share your knowledge with our listeners.
Well, thank you.
Gimme, 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 gimme love. Gimme, 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 gimme love. Gimme, 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 gimme